Oh, hi there. Again, I'd like to weigh in on the situation with Ukraine and Russia. A lot of people look at it as, oh, poor little Ukraine being bullied by the neighborhood tough guy. And that's true, except who's really so ronery? I mean, how many allies do the Russians have on this particular situation? Um, there are separatists in East Ukraine. There might be a handful of similar minded people on the eastern part of the northern hemisphere. Perhaps even in other places of the world where their opinion doesn't really matter anyway because they're so far away and have no way of actually contributing or having the willingness to do so. Because having your 2 cents is a lot different than supplying $7 million worth of equipment to uh, a company or organization of soldiers fighting against uh, another country's aggression. Um, the thing is, the Russians, although a competent army, a very good army, um, it has zero chance of conquering the world at this point in time. Zero. They could never win. A lot of people say, oh, well, the United States could never win. Well, I present to you the metaphor of what the United States is. It is united, as in there is a conglomerate of parties that would side with them. They're technically their own countries, they would side with them. Great Britain, Australia, France, Germany, uh, Canada, um, certain parts of Mexico, a handful of places, even in Africa. Even the Liberians wanted to fight in Iraq for the American army. The American army said no, but it was, in a strange sort of way, sort of commendable. But obviously, they don't want those kind of soldiers there, so they politely said no to them. Um, and the thing is, so the United States has all these allies, and even to an extent, the Russians they're on somewhat even terms. They don't agree with this particular aspect of what their geopolitical plans are, but overall things are so much more stable than they were 35 years ago. Um, things have changed. However, will the global community put up with relatively minor um, territorial expansion based on economic interest, based on perhaps limiting of hostilities? Because if they control more of the Black Sea, then they can institute a more peaceful situation in that particular area, which presented to the world sounds like, plausible, good idea. It's like we're the good guys here. We're just trying to talk our way into ascertaining more money and more power. And we'll do it peacefully, relatively, if the Ukrainians simply give up. And obviously, the Ukraine is not a very wealthy country, so no, they're not going to agree to that. And do they have people who are not interested in Russian territorial expansion and do not particularly trust the agents that either work for or control behind the scenes for Putin and Putin's Russia? Um, I honestly don't think there are any countries that are willing to back up the Russians. I mean, the Russians feel as though they're a very independent country and they don't need any help. and this is where their strong military comes into mind. But as a long-term goal, it's not feasible without allies. Now, a lot of people, they go, oh, well, the Chinese and the Russians are allies. Well, actually, they're not. You wouldn't even want Chinese military assistance. Um, so the Russians will most certainly keep them out of it. There's not any country in the world with any brains whatsoever that would accept Chinese military assistance. Because as soon as you do, afterwards they take whatever it is that they were there for in the first place. Will India help them? India has been pushing hard for many years now to get on Russia's good side. Not that they were betraying the West or anything in particular. It's more to do with they need someone coming from a different angle to fight against the Chinese, because the Indians and the Chinese, they had a little war, and they've not liked each other for a very long time. And the Indians, understandably, were seeking outside resources for assistance other than Great Britain and the United States. So India is likely to do, well, is most certainly not going to do anything whatsoever. And there are not really any other players in the area that would be of any significance that could contribute financially wise or military hardware, whatever, towards the Russian cause for this. And this is part of the reason why this is not a main topic as far as Canadian media goes. They bring it up every now and then. You can find sources on the internet, and it's been going on for a long while, but it never had the, I don't even want to say it, but I guess I have to, the COVID kind of thing. And it's like, okay, there are reasons why this is played down, but it's a real a scary situation for other people in the world, and it's something that people should know about. If you're observant and you're kind of cognizant of what's going on in the world, then you'll understand that this right now should be taking more of a dominant share in the media and just general conversation, rather than the ceaseless whining of people and certain COVID, mandates. Who cares? There are countries out there that have missiles pointed at each other, and you're whining about taking a vaccination. And I don't get that. I didn't particularly enjoy taking mine, but I did. And, whatever. The thing is, the Russians are not allowed to win. I'm sorry, Putin has been a very good leader, and he's done a lot of the right things, but he is not right in this particular situation. I know they need to improve their economy, and this is the way they see being able to do that. However, it's not in the cards. And whether they outright say it or not, a lot of countries are very against this move by Russia, and I think that there may be some concessions that are made, and Russia may be able to grab some territory. I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller, but all in all, the Russian army, as well as Putin and Russia as a whole, are going to feel very dissatisfied with this ongoing issue with the Ukraine. I don't think they're going to get everything they want. There are a lot of people saying, oh, if Putin wants something, he's going to get it. And yes, he is a determined man with a powerful army, but that's not enough. Circumstances, resources, geography, terrain, all these things, global connections. You need all of that stuff in order to exercise your will. If Putin had all that stuff and Russia had all that stuff, they'd already taken Ukraine. And they haven't. I mean, now there's some Ukrainian probably in a foxhole freezing his ass off who doesn't know that, but, you know, it is important to note who is going to back up Russia. And the list is very, very short. So there has to be peaceful dialogue in more than just basically promissory notes saying that they'll help improve the economy of Russia if they sort of simmer down, and relax. It has to be more than that. There has to be like legitimate action to improve the financial income of Russia because they do have a powerful military, and they're not stupid. And there are a lot of people out there that don't even think about it. So, that's your right. You don't have to think about it, but I would suggest you do, at least a little bit. Anyway, so that's gonna sum up this video is that Russia doesn't have any allies that are any good. And that's usually why nations that start wars or get into wars lose wars, is because they don't have allies. Or if they had allies in the beginning, they've turned their backs on them, or, there's been that kind of a problem. So at the end of the day, the Russians, they are going to go home, guaranteed, at best, with their stomachs half full. They're not going to get everything they want. So that's what I got to say. Anyway, talk to you people later. Have a good one.